Yo, hey everybody. Welcome to this thing that we call Vibes and Stuff. It's the first time we posted or did a live stream in a while, right? We want to connect back with the audience. You know what I mean? Got a few things I want to do just real quick. I want to make sure that my Facebook audience is in the place to be. Let me see. Just want to see if my Facebook audience is here. So we'll be joined by a few people. There we go. So we are. So there we are. We are on Facebook. That's dope. Okay. So it's a few things I want to work on or I want to share with you, right? So the title of today's show is Generations. Are we so different, right? Are we so different? The generations. And what I mean by that um, is each generation different from the prior? And when you ask that off top, wait a minute, before I do that, let me go. I had something written. I'm just gonna go by the written thing. And before I start freestyling, I will freestyle, y'all. I do get undisciplined like that sometimes, but I have a thing that's written. I'll go half written and half freestyle. That's just who I am. So often we don't understand the prior generation. The prior generation's way of dressing, the music that they listen to, even the movies that they watch are different from what we grew up liking. But really, is it? Has our longing for self-expression made the way, made the easy connection that should be there difficult to manage? Think about this. Was your grandmother at 16 different from your mother at the same age, different from you at the same age, different from your son and daughter at the same age? Sergeant Nix, aka G-Man for Life, is in the building. Hey, everybody. So this is my man, my mellow. We do a lot of things together. Um, he is the co-host of the hit YouTube show, The Pod Couple. He is a celebrity in the Knicks universe, and he does a lot of guest appearances on multiple New York Knicks related shows on YouTube. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce. Let me see, where is it? Let me introduce G-Man, Sergeant Nix, aka G-Man for Life. How you doing today, G-Man?
Boy, I swear that never gets old. Never, 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 never.
Never get old.
It's
Okay.
happy Friday to you, my brother.
Happy Friday, bro. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Welcome to Vibes and Stuff. It's a different vibe and stuff than what we normally do. But this right here is my baby, right?
Right,
And
right.
so let me also welcome, before we get too deep into the conversation, let me also welcome people viewing this on Facebook, right? So for my people on Facebook, what I'd like to do, hey, look who it is, everybody. It is Jay Boogie. Jay Boogie, what's good? How you doing today, brother?
Oh man, I'm a little bit up under the weather, man, but I wanted to come through, man, for a little bit, man. So
Okay.
shout out to everybody, man. You know what I'm saying? Watching and supporting the channel, man. Shout out to everybody rocking that orange and blue. Shout out to everybody doing what they're supposed to do in life, man. God blesses you all the times, man. At will, he does it at will. All you got to do is ask him. But when you ask him, put yourself in a position to receive.
Right. Right. No doubt. No doubt.
Vibes.
And stuff.
And stuff. So what I'm gonna do right now is, so we're kind of new at that. What I'm gonna do is, so vibes and stuff is a little different from the channel that we normally do. Lawrence Tears is a little bit different from that vibe, right? So what I'm doing now, for those that are watching this on Facebook, I'm putting a link to the YouTube channel in the chat, so that if you want to connect with us, you can come through by clicking this link that I just put in over here, or I'm sorry, here or here, wherever it's at. Click on the link that I just put in the chat and come through. You can watch us on YouTube and participate via YouTube. That way I won't miss any of your comments. We love to see y'all connected in the conversation, right? So Jay Boogie is all kind of like in the vein with Sergeant Nix, aka G-Man for Life. He is a internet sensation, except Jay Boogie is an internet sensation. One of the hottest rappers in our circles right now, blowing up the internet with a few singles that he has put out. Inspirational brother. Definitely had to have him come on when we do vibes and stuff, because vibes and stuff is all about, you know, what's our vibe, right? What is there to talk about in our community? Can we say something positive for once? You know what I mean? So when you're talking about, you know, vibes and things like that, man, you had to have Jay Boogie. You can't do it without doing at least offering the invite to Jay Boogie. So I appreciate you being here, brother.
No doubt, no doubt. It's my pleasure, man, being here, hanging out with you two gentlemen, man.
Right. Hey, man. So let me. I'm gonna reset just for a moment, just so that people on Facebook can catch up to us, right? So for one, let me say the title of the show is "Generations Are We So Different?" And what I said, Jay Boogie, right before you came through, is your grandmother at 16 different from your mother at 16, different from you at 16, different from your kids at 16? Or do we put differences in place so that we can maintain a certain standard, a level of respect, right? And the reason why I say that is because the stories I was told about my father at, say, 17 are similar to the things that I went through at 17. And I saw my sons go through at 17. The differences were, I didn't observe them from a child's perspective. I observed them as an adult, looking back at a different age at how they react to stuff at the same age. And so G-Man knows, y'all know me. Y'all know I came prepared, right? Y'all know I came prepared. So I want y'all to check this out. I don't know. I think y'all might appreciate this, right? Where is it? So I have it here. Y'all bear with me. I'm moderating, hosting, and producing at the same time. Yeah. So for those of y'all that don't have YouTube channels, y'all have no idea what that means. But if you ever do it, you'll understand where I'm coming from, right? But check this out, y'all. Just check this out.
Mission detected at the front door.
Right. And so that was 1970. So in 1970, the Jacksons were all over the radio, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Beatles were all over the radio. And the Styles then, right, in the early 70s, all of us were young in the early 70s. So the Styles then were bell-bottom pants, platform shoes, naturals. We our community, we call them naturals. The word wound up being called afros because of the type of people that wore that natural hairstyle, right?
Mhm.
Mood rings was one of the things going on then, and back then, super long cars were the style. And if you were from the street, you know them as OJs. Remember that?
Yep,
Remember that?
for sure.
Right. And so what you could also remember is people took pride in things like their record collection. Right. They
Mhm.
took pride in their record collections and things like that. That was for, even though we were alive in the early 70s, that wasn't our generation. We were the onlookers of that generation in their bag. Right. Right. But I have another one here. How about this?
Throwback.
It's a low rider.
That's it.
Wee. All I can hear is Dr. Dre. Blum 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 blum
Yeah,
blum
yeah.
blum blum blum. That's all I hear.
Right.
Yep.
And so during that era, that mid 90s, there was a different thing. But you notice the trends were about the same. Hector, what's good, bro?
Freezy, Uncle
What's
G,
good?
man, J Boogie, what it do?
What's good? What's good? What's good? Hey, so Hector just jumped in. I'm just gonna reset for just a moment, man, so that everybody will be brought up to the conversation, right? So Hector, this is what. So basically, what we're saying is generations. Was your grandmother at 16 different from your mom at 16? Different than you at 16? Different from your kids at the same age, right? We like to think there are a lot of differences, but at the same time, when you go by the facts of things, you would really think that everybody was just about the same at the same age. The only difference is maybe environmental factors, how certain things and like how technology changed from generation to generation. But I'm gonna play this for Hector because I just want to see him laugh.
That's that in the night fever, night fever.
The
You don't
Beatles,
have to
yeah.
show it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. And so in 1970, the fashions of the day was mood rings, afros, and things like. Because I heard K Solo, the rapper K Solo, said one time that his afro posed at 360 degrees, so that made him the light skinned Richard Roundtree. So K Solo said that. That was a long time ago. But then I'll play this real quick, and I'll try not to play it no more, man. It just makes me laugh. It just makes me laugh when I see him.
That's that Dr. Dre, that blump, 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 blump,
Montel
blump,
Jordan.
blump, blump. What?
Yeah, man.
Low rider.
And so what I want to do is I'm gonna ask y'all. I'm gonna ask y'all a series of questions, and I'm gonna chime in on this too. I'm gonna chime in on this also, just to give perspective. Because even though we're all the same, I like to say, like I joke with Miss Mocha. That's my wife. You know what I'm saying? I joke with Miss Mocha that me and Jay Boogie are the same person, right? But we are different though. We have a lot of differences, right? So I'm gonna say this, Hector. growing up, do you remember a time when, say, one of your family members had to ask a prior generation for money? And you don't have to get into like difficulties or why they needed money or whatever. It's just they say moms had to ask grandma for money, and what was the feeling like? Like what was going on then? Like what happened? Like how did mom go to grandma and ask grandma for money?
Well, first and foremost, thank you for having me on. Salute to this
For
panel.
sure,
Love you
for
guys
sure.
so much.
I'm sorry for the introduction. I'm sorry for not doing the introduction. This is Project Nerd HQ. Hector, the co-host and creator from the Love of the Game podcast, the YouTube sensation. He is usually joined by Hardwell and Worldwide L. The other day they had Father MC on and myself, which was super fire. I love getting on with the guys. But this is Hector, everybody. I'm sorry for not introducing, bro.
Nah, it's cool.
I'm
It's
sorry
cool.
about that.
No, never apologize. But yeah, it's like you said, my mom's asking my grandma for money, but it's like you said, it's no different. We all like to think that we will be different than our parents were at the same age, but it's genetic trauma that's like passed down. You know, certain issues that I go through are the same issues that my mother had to go through my age, and vice versa. Some issues she went through is what my grandmother had to go through. You know, especially at a young age in our type of culture when it comes to Latino culture, Puerto Rican culture, however you want to do it. If a woman is young, 14 years old, automatically she has to take care of her older siblings, her younger brothers, and be like the pseudo third parent of the household. While the parents are out there trying to figure it out and work. Because yeah, you got both parents working, but at the same time, somebody has to be able to run the household. So it falls in line to most of the times the eldest female in the family.
Okay. Yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
And I say that it goes up not just it's not specifically to Latinidad community as well as African American indigenous communities as well. Like the eldest female normally has to take on that parent role at a very young age.
Right. No doubt, no doubt. And listen, I'm gonna tell you how. So um. I'll explain. So basically, where I am with that question is this: borrowing money back in the day from grandfather. For the sake of conversation, I'm gonna call grandfather Poppy and call father Pops. Right? Chop Low, what's good?
Uncle Chop, serve me a plate.
Yeah, man. Chop, what's good?
Salute. God bless everybody. I'm gonna go back. Oh, G-Man for life. Uncle Hack.
Yeah, Chop Low, you got an
Yo,
all-star panel, bro. You got Jay Boogie and
hold up.
Hector in the same
That's the
spot.
big bro J Boogie. Hold up. I'm gonna give somebody a link. We want to join you guys. Salute. God bless everybody.
Okay. All right. Hey, while you work on that, I'll continue the topic then. So when, say for instance, when my pops needed to borrow money, right, from his pops, it was a big deal, right? This was no small time thing, because pride was in the way, right? Because for their generation, there was a certain level of macho that was in the way, right? There was a certain thing where back in the 60s and 70s, a man in our family and my family circle, a man never reached out for help, ever. Never reached out for help, even if he desperately needed it. I remember seeing, as a child, a husband and wife argue after church because my man needed help. The church would offer help and wanted to, But the church wanted him to ask for help and had the resources. But the man didn't do it because of pride. And his wife was crying, like, you know we need help. We about to get evicted. And you standing here and you letting your ego get in the way, and they want to help us, and you too proud to go ask for help. And you know what that man did? He was like, I don't need help. I'll get me a third job. Well, he had already worked for the city as you know, the trash collector. You know how the man right on the back of the garbage truck come through, right? And then he had a second job doing other stuff. And what happened was his family had needed help. He had helped them. When it came time for them to pay him back, they didn't. Now he in the hole because he helped somebody else, right? Now he need help. His family can't help him because they already owe him, and he too proud to go get help from the church. And him and his wife is arguing in front of everybody, right? Right. So fast forward, right, to my generation and my pops, right? I'm like, hey man, I need money, right? And my pops would say to me, man, you better get you a job. And so I'm like, Pops, I got a job, man, but these babies eat like they grown. He's like, well, how many you got? I mean, I got a bunch of them. He would say something like, well, y'all better buy a TV or something, because y'all definitely ain't got nothing to do at night. And if y'all keep popping up these babies, clearly y'all ain't got no TV to watch at night or something, because if that's what y'all doing at night. I'm like, Pops, now ain't the time for that. This ain't the time for that. This ain't the time for you. They already here. They want to say hello. And then I'll be like, say hello to your granddaddy. And the grandbaby would be like, hey, granddaddy, on the phone. And that be the thing that melt his heart. Soon as my pops hear the grandkids, it melt his heart. And he be busting his wallet wide open, trying to send money. Right?
Yep.
Right? But here's the thing. My pops, and because I can't remember my grandfather on his side like that, right? But what I do remember is when it comes to certain things, there is a level of pride that stopped my pops from going and asking for help, for any kind of help, not just financial. It might have been like emotional help. It might have been any kind of help, right? He wasn't gonna do that. Chop, what's good? He wasn't gonna do that because that's just what it was. His generation, my generation, was not that. You know what I'm saying? We would, even though I'm a prideful man, right? I'm a prideful man, but when it came to the babies and stuff, I'm like, I gotta get my pride out the way. But listen, the generation after me, they don't seem to have that level of pride, right? Because my pops would have had to ask his pop. So this is how borrowing money go. Daddy, I need money. For what? The car broke down. You couldn't fix it? Yeah, I fixed it. I just need a part. I worked on it for about 3 or 4 days. Oh, yeah? All right, I'm going to get some money from up under the mattress. Come on. When you going to pay me back? I get paid Thursday night. Okay. Come by Saturday morning when I take your mama to town. Come by Saturday morning and we'll settle up. Right? That's my pops and his father type conversation. Me and my pops conversation is, Pops, I need some money. Oh yeah? For what? The car broke down. Oh yeah, why you ain't trying to fix it? I did try to fix it, man. I've been out there all day. You know what I'm saying? I need an alternator to put on here. They're like, oh yeah? Yeah, man, I ain't got no money, man. All right. take me up to the credit union, and I'll get how much the part costs. They say it costs such and such. Me and him go to the parts store, walk around, look, and he gonna make sure that I'm getting the money for the alternator, right? That's what he gonna do. He gonna get the money from the credit union, go with me to the parts place, buy the alternator. He ain't gonna put the cash in my hand. He gonna make sure that I needed the alternator, and he gonna pay for it, right?
Yep.
So this is me and my sons. Pops, this time I'm Pops. Pops, I need some money. What? What you need money for? Bro, I'm taking her, man. She finally said, yeah, man, I'm taking her out on Saturday night. Taking her out Saturday night? And you want me to pay for it? I already got my woman, bro. You want me to introduce me? You want me to introduce you to my woman? Man, Pops, why you always acting so stupid like that, Pops? Why you always be trying to embarrass me? I know who your woman is. Oh, yeah, who my woman is? It's your mother, fool. It's your mama. You know how I got her? I worked for it. And they like, man, Pops, come on, man, please, come on. Please, man, please. I'm like, come on, man. Really? You hit me up for bread? Like, yeah, man, come on. This is important. She fine, bro. She can't eat at McDonald's, Pops. I got to take her to Red Lobster. And I'm like, come on, son, really? All right, let me. I'll cash out you. I'll cash out you. Right? So, AJ Boogie, you see how like one topic spread out across the generations is all panned out like different ways. My grandfather had money under the mattress. My pops, who kind of evolved from that generation, had money in the credit union. You know what I'm saying? This generation, we can cash out. You know what I'm saying? But the need through the generations was all the same. You follow? Y'all follow what I'm getting at? All these generations so different?
I say
Yes, sir.
a big difference is the cost. You know, because guarantee when you was younger, you know, it was a lot cheaper to go out than it is nowadays. You know, you especially in New York City, if I was to go out to eat, automatically the minimum is probably $80, and that's like just the bare minimum to have in order to go out. You know, since the 70s, inflation has risen. You know, production has risen, but one of the things that hasn't risen alongside with it is wages. Wages has been stagnant since the 70s, you know, and I go on a big diatribe, but why? But it has been stagnant since the 70s. G-Man, I know you're aware of it. You know, you're someone who is well versed on economic issues and policies and stuff, so you automatically know what I'm talking about. But that's a big thing, you know. My mother always used to say that.
Why the 70s?
Yeah, my mom used to always say that, oh, growing up in the 70s, I used to be able to take a $5 and go to Coney Island and buy this, buy that, buy this, da 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 da. It's like it's not the same.
No, it's not the same. It's not the same. But I tell you what though, some of the same issues, like what I said just now about just issues in general, some of the same issues remain the same. Like for instance, I don't know how many of you guys have babies, and I say babies, I really mean children, but I don't know how many of y'all have children, but think about the way they address you versus the way that you address your parents when it came to anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'll give you, I'll ask you this, J Buggy. When it came to telling your parents you were going to get married, you were going to start your own family, how did you approach them like that? Was that talk to them uncomfortable?
No, it wasn't uncomfortable for me because reason why I said it wasn't uncomfortable for me, you know, it was time for me to branch out. You know what I'm saying? My parents and them like even further off. You know what I'm saying? Taking in a different direction. You know what I'm saying? Another branch to the tree. You know what I'm saying? Add some more leaves and limbs and all that to their foundation it wasn't hard for me to let my peoples know I'm getting ready to get married. They was happy, you know what I'm saying, for me, because that was one of the things that I never had done in my life. And I don't did so many other things in my life, you know what I'm saying, before. But one of those, getting married, they was definitely, you know what I'm saying, great for that. And then it's great for your kids, you know what I'm saying, for your kids to, you know, see both their parents, they all together, you know. Just to elaborate real quick on your the generations you came from the grandparenting to our parents to us from 16 to 16 during my great grandparents in them era. They valued the life of what it meant to make and earn their money more than anything. So when they made their money and what they had to go through to make their money and get their money, you know what I'm saying? They valued it and it was real picky and choicy about it.
Right.
Everything they did with it, it took care of their strong needs, not their wants. From
Right.
then to now, we have more wants than needs in life. And my mother at her 16, during her era in time, receiving money down, she only got money for if it was really, really necessary. And they pick and choose to give her what they needed to give her during her lifetime. Because in my mom's era, she didn't really need much because everybody didn't really know, you know what I'm saying, of anything new to do because her parents they didn't really show too much new for that era to come up. But in my era coming up at 16, it was so much new things for me to see that it was so different. And it brought forth when I'm trying to get money, so many things that I wanted to do caused me to tell lies to my parents because I wanted to do something totally different than what I was telling them I needed it for. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So therefore, with my grandparents, well, what you need that money for? But you don't need that. You don't need that money. I ain't do that when you're not. You know, all that came about. And what I really needed the money for, I never told him for it because I really didn't know what I needed the money for, but I know I just needed some
Yeah.
money. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? During that time, just to go do whatever it is that I wanted to do. But more importantly, not so much of wanting to do, but more importantly, to fit in with somebody else that was easily getting some money from their parents. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Just so I can have me a little bit, man. But
Right.
in them levels that you're talking about, far as the difference, man, life has changed so much, man. Even now, down to the generations right now. My baby 3 years old know how to outwork me on my phone, man. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Everything, electronical,
Yeah.
all that stuff. The time is flew by, and they learn a whole lot more now, quicker than what I did. I learned from what I saw. They
Right.
learn from what they teach themselves, what we don't want to teach them.
Right.
And it's a big difference, man, right now, man, in life as the system grading, you know what I'm saying, from back then to from the 70s to the 80s to the 90s to the 2000s is just totally different, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. And so I say this a lot, and I know, and you guys don't get to hear it, but I say it on previous vibes and stuff. It used to be Chop It Up. We changed the name. We did some rebranding, but in previous vibes and stuff episodes, I mentioned my Uncle Leon. Right, my Uncle Leon was an inspiration to me. Right, because I was learning as a youth. I was learning a certain thing. Right, the thing that one of the things I learned or was taught, who kind of forced on me, was like, yo, you got to get this schooling, boy. You got to get this schooling. You ain't gonna be nothing without these books, right?
Yep.
You ain't gonna be nothing in life without these. You can work as hard as you want, but you're gonna be stuck in this job just like me. You don't want to be like me. You want to be better than me. That's the thing that I was taught coming up. You don't want to be like me. You want to be better than me. Go get them books. Go get them books, man, and be something out here, right? And so with that said, I was taught early on to do stuff like Shirley. She might be watching. That's my mom. So shout out to my mom, man, if she watching, right? Um, her and my grandmother taught me stuff like, get up early and take out the trash, man. Clean up the bathroom behind yourself. When you eat, man, don't be leaving dishes in the sink. Wash them dishes. Iron your clothes when you go out here. Iron them the night before. All these different things I was taught, right? And what I wasn't hip to, I was like, dang, man, they always be on me, man. They trying to get me to wash to wash the dishes, and I want to watch the Cosby Show. You know what I'm saying? Or I want to watch, Fame or something, whatever was on TV or whatever. You know what I'm saying? They getting on me. I want to watch Welcome Back Carter or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Y'all, and so what it was is it wasn't the task itself. It was the preparation for responsibility so you can have the motivation to go out and work and be something. Right? Yeah, like G-Man be on me all the time. Like, yo, Uncle Freezy, man, you gotta learn how to get some rest. But coming up, I was taught that you got to stay busy doing something. You know what I'm saying? Stay busy doing good.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So I said all of that to say that I was taught that, right? Because my mom and dad were taught that by the previous generation. And the previous generation was taught that. But then when it comes to my babies, it was a struggle for them. And it was a struggle for them because technology made life easy for them. Bro, Hector, do you know right now you can order food on your phone?
My generation is up.
And yeah. Hey, baby.
Say hey. Say hi, Freezy. Say hi. Say hi, Hector.
Hi, Phoebe.
Hey, baby.
That's right.
Hello, Matt. This is yogurt and tea butter.
She's
Yeah.
hungry. I got to go on my next generation right now, y'all.
All right,
She's
bro.
getting up. She's hungry, man. I still be in the chat, man.
Okay.
Love y'all, brothers, man.
All right,
God
brother.
bless you
Appreciate
all.
you, bro.
All right.
Yeah, man. But speaking to the generations, right? So I look at my daughter and my mom who look alike. If you look at my mom and my daughter, it looks as if my daughter could be my mom's baby, right? So they look similar, they act similar, but their motivations are very different.
Yeah.
Very different. Chop Low, me and you had this conversation. What was it 2 weeks ago? Last week? Was it last week? You and I talked about something like this about the generations, about how things get passed from one generation to another, and people have a different appreciation for different things. You remember that?
Man, you gotta
Chop Low, he eating
I gotta
as
say-
usual.
Yeah, sorry, my mom.
He got his plate.
Yeah. He ain't worried about nobody else's plate.
Facts.
You know, you said something a few minutes ago, Freezy, and then everything. It's funny how the conversation evolves, but you're still covering all the points that you brought up, right? So when you start talking about things that you go through from generation to generation, something as simple as you put it, something just borrowing money from family members or whatever the case may be. I think the environment and the values that you were taught in those different generations matter. When I say the environment, how the world evolves and what you're subjected to influences what you do with the money that you make, to your point. And, how do you separate those wants from those needs, right? So back in the day, what we may have considered a need back in the day now transitions because of technology and everything else is going on. Now that's a want. That's not necessary.
Right.
So, and certain things we kind of take for granted, when you're growing up, you don't worry about who's paying the light bill when you're 16 years old. You don't care about that because the light's always on. Now, if the light's not on, you got a problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're gonna complain.
And you're gonna complain. If you go to take a bath or try to wash dishes and there's no hot water, and you gotta heat up that pot of water on the stove before you do anything that you need hot water, then that's a concern, right? So again, at some point in time, that's not a need. I mean, you don't consider that to be a need because it's always provided for you. Now,
Right.
if you're in one of them households where you struggle, like I said, you don't have no lights in the crib, and you know somebody that and this is how people this is and people don't understand this, right? Some of these people that you hear about that's uber successful right now, the Bill Gateses and people like that, you know what I'm saying? They came from a place because they saw something that they wanted or they thought that they wanted, right? Couldn't afford it. So they're gonna figure out how to make their own. And that
Right.
gives you that level of creativity, right?
Right.
When you don't have lights in your house and you walk down the street and you see orange light cord stretched from the neighbor's house through the upstairs window and drop down and plugged into the wall, and you got a string of lights through the house just so you have lights.
Right.
People don't understand that. I say all that to say this. When you talk about like today, I for one, you talked about pride, men being prideful, right? Because as a man, it's we are taught at a very young age, it's our job to be the provider of the household. We are supposed to provide for everything in the household, right? And when you can't do that, when you can't meet that expectation, it's you almost admitting defeat if you got to go to your pops and be like, "Hey, pops, check this out, man.
Yeah.
I got
Yo, sir, you are so correct. Go ahead, sir.
yeah. I mean, I fell on some bad times, or maybe you know the air conditioner went out. Well, that's a luxury. You don't need no air conditioner. You better open that window up and go buy you one of them box fans and stick
Box
them in there.
fan, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We don't need no air conditioner. But look, and during the daytime, dress down. Don't move around a lot. Drink a lot of water. And then when
Right.
the sun go down, you put the window up, put the fan in the window, and you let that cool breeze blow through to try to cool the house down before Mom's Dukes get in the kitchen and start cooking and heat the
Right.
house up all over again, right?
Right.
But when you talk about stuff like that, that's part of it. All right. So I find myself doing stuff like this right now. And people think about this, right? You think about the Cosby Show when Theo used to go to Cliff and be like, "Hey, Dad, I need money for X, Y, and Z," right? Then Cliff gonna give him the money, but he gonna have to sit through a long story.
Long,
Why you don't
long,
want
long.
yeah,
And they might call grandpops over. Remember light skinned dude? Grandpa? Yeah.
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 For sure, for sure. And the kids get that look on their face. It was like, "Hey, pops, I need some money to take Tina out. We're going skating." And then pops get that look on his face like, "No, you didn't just come in here and ask me for money to take your girlfriend somewhere. Let me explain something to you, boy. When I used to want money like that, I used to have to go to the grocery store and bag groceries, after school for about a couple hours, and I used to save my pennies because I knew I wanted to take Tina to the skate rink on Saturday. So you got to go through all that, right? But then I find myself doing the same thing to my son, especially my older son, because when we believe as parents, we have taught you as our offspring good enough lessons for you to go out and make better decisions than we made back in the day, so you don't have to come to me and ask for money.
Right.
You are better prepared in this day and age to go out and do something different. But to Hector's point, that whole $10 that I used to spend back in the day when I was 15, 16 years old, man, you need probably about $25 to make that equal on what's going on in the world today. You know what I'm saying?
Man,
Things don't
yeah.
match.
Mm-hmm.
G-Man, hey, G-Man, I'm gonna say something to make you laugh. So back in the day, I used to work at this restaurant in Rocky Mount, North Carolina called the Carlton House. Right? I used to work at this restaurant called the Carlton House, right?
I know exactly what that is.
Yeah, I used to bust suds in there, right?
Yeah.
So my first day on the job, I walk around like, "Yo, I got a job. When payday?" And chef came to me like, "Hey, man, you gonna do some work? Or you gonna just stand in the middle of the floor?" And I'm like, "I'm gonna work." He's like, "Well, when? I'm paying you." And I'm like, "Yo, when is payday?"
Mm-mm.
And chefs is so chef. So chef, if you watching this, bro, I appreciate you. I appreciate you as a man for saying things to me where I can understand.
Yes, sir.
Chef said to me right then on the spot, we gonna pay you, but until then, you gonna work.
Yep.
That's what a job is, Uncle Freezy, is work. A job ain't nothing but work,
Work. Facts.
right? And I was like, okay, you gotta talk to me like that. I'll work. And so he would show me these tasks, and he would say little things to me, little snide stuff like, the last guy we had used to do this in 30 minutes. And me, I'm competitive. So I'm like, well, I'm gonna do it in 20 minutes.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And he'd be like, the last guy that did such and such, the ladies would come by and give him a tip. And I was like, tips? I'm gonna be rich. So Chef motivated me in different ways that I didn't know he was motivated, because everybody that you around, and heck, you'll appreciate this. Everybody that you around don't have to demand a certain thing. They can poke you a little bit, give you the nudge that you need, the little push that you need for you to be successful.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have to yell at you or constrict you to a certain lane. They can motivate you differently, right?
I mean, I believe that's true to a point, but at the same time, as an individual, you got to be built a certain way. You know what I'm saying? Because if you are just downright lazy and don't want to do nothing, no amount of motivation that you give somebody is going to amount to anything.
That's where constructive criticism comes in, right? Or no?
Well, I mean, again, constructive criticism only works if you have the foundational.
On certain individuals.
Yeah. I mean, you got to have that foundational mindset to say, well, you know, I have a basic understanding of going out and working for a wage. I have that basic understanding.
Because there's a difference of belittling somebody and putting them down and giving them constructive criticism to motivate them.
Facts. That is 100% true. And again, people work at different speeds and are motivated by different stuff. And some people, I mean, if you're just talking about a regular 9-to-5 bagging groceries, right? So maybe my hand-eye coordination is not as good as Hector's, right? So where it takes me 5 minutes to get your groceries in the bag, and I'm putting them in all wrong. I got the eggs on the bottom of the bag. I'm putting canned goods on top of them. I'm putting your bread up under, that frozen ham hock and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing it all wrong. But I'm getting you stuff in the bag. Whereas Uncle Freezy.
But I'm doing it fast though. Yeah,
I'm doing it fast. I'm getting you out in the store. You know what I'm saying? But when you come back in there, you're gonna have words for that cashier and that manager. I don't know where G-Man for life is, but don't let him touch my bags no more. Don't no. I don't want him bagging my groceries no more.
Right. I used to try to always tell people that, you know, when I worked in the EMS world, when I was a supervisor, if I had anybody that I was training, I would always try to tell them that focus on what one thing that your job is and focus on that and do it to the best of your ability. Imagine if you're working with somebody, right? A restaurant setting, for instance, G-Man, and they're trying to do 20 things at the same time, but they're only doing it 10% or 20% efficiency. They're dropping stuff on the floor. They're dropping baskets that you got to bring back to the kitchen. They're dropping food off at the wrong table. But I'm moving fast. No, you look like you're working, but you're not working. If you could just focus on your task, just that one thing that you have to do, you be all set. You know, and then in society, it's a rat race mentality that we all live in. It's a rat race mentality of, like, you know, making it to the top and not trying to be at the bottom of the barrel in society. You know, I don't.
Sorry. My time is limited. I'm so sorry. I'm not even a spectacular superstar. It's just me. But I'm just gonna say, heck, the same thing you're saying right now makes me think of people do things just for the bread instead of the passion, and they feel that they're working. So they don't give a in certain situations in my time, being in the hospital, certain people in the hospital, and we visiting them, and all the nurses, and no disrespect to them, but they all like they in the lounge. They don't care. People only work for a check, or in that same sentiment that you was talking about just now. Mm-hmm. People is not the passion. They doing it for the bread, if you will.
Right. They motivate. People's motivations are different, and you can't really blame them for that, though.
Right.
Everybody's gonna have.
At the end of the day.
Yeah. And I'm not saying you shouldn't take pride in your work and perform a quality task. What I am saying is that everybody's motivations will be different. Like my motivations for being having YouTube status. I guess I have YouTube status.
You got that status. You got that blue check.
Right. So my motivation for having YouTube status was never to talk all Knicks all the time. It was more to do stuff like this where we can have conversations, where we can vibe. But the thing about it is the way that you do your job and how good you are at it is what drives you in one direction or another.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I could have been decent at this or great at Knicks content. You know what I'm saying? So people's motivations, are certainly definitely different. Like for instance, I have conversations that I want to have with Hector right now on this channel where we could just let loose and just let it rip, right? And we'd be good at it. But we got to start somewhere and get enough people so that our words will have a big, greater impact on more people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So our motivations are different. The big picture, we see the big picture, right? But we got to start with the small stuff first, you know what I'm saying? And work our way towards that so that when a butterfly flaps his wings over here, it'll be a tidal wave over there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I like that.
You know what I'm saying? So it's so when you see the like to Chop Low's point, when you see the nurses in the lounge, what they may be doing is they may be doing that job to pay bills, but also going to school. They in the lounge, they got their tablet out, you know what I'm saying, reading, doing their homework so they could get into like cybersecurity or something else. And people always have different. Now, some people just flat out lazy.
Yeah.
Some people just flat out lazy, bro. They don't have the motivation they don't even have the motivation to aspire to other great things.
Facts.
They just enjoy their moment.
I see that sometimes people get stuck in a profession. There's several factors that go into it. Sometimes it's factors from your parents because your parents sent you to school and they wanted you to do this, and ever since you was a child they said this is what you're going to be when you grow up, and when you're 20 or 25 years old, now you're in nursing school or you're doing your rotations in the hospitals, but then you're frustrated because this is not your passion. This is not what you want to do. You either want to pursue the arts, you either want to pursue programming when it comes to gaming, or coding when it comes to programming like apps and stuff like that. There's a lot of people that are in a profession that they're unhappy because they don't want to do it. You have a lot of people that you may see them at work, and we all know what we make, and we are making the same amount of money, and I could pay my bills and I could do this, that, and third and go out, but you're just always working and you seem like you don't have any money on you. Well, you don't know if who that person has at home, what's the structure of that person having at home. Right. There's been several people that I worked with and I was making good money, but at the same time their money going to paying the bills because they're the only one working in their house. So it's basically them working in order to survive. Yeah, they're making $1,500 a paycheck, but that $1,500 got to go for the bills and for the people that's living in that household. Not everybody can get a job, and I know people always want to talk about like the unemployment numbers and da. Don't be confused by that. This statistic that's called, it's the real-time unemployment stat. It basically, if you've been out of work for more than 6 months, you're technically considered unhireable. And you're removed off the unemployment statistics that they use to show on TV. So after 6 months, you're taken off of that list, and now it looks like, look, everybody's working. No, it's not. And then on top of it, they have it like, if you work 8 hours a week, you're technically working, so you're not unemployed. Nobody can survive for 8 hours a week. So it's so many factors that go into it.
Right. And factors. And so Hector's point. Man, Hector, bro, you be on it, bro. So, but the thing is Hector T. So for those of y'all watching, for everybody viewing this, and those that watch this on replay, Hector, what happens is I throw Hector a softball, and he hit a home run, but I run the bases. That's basically how it works.
Yeah,
that's basically
it's
how
like
it
the
works.
Simpsons softball team. That's exactly how it is.
Yeah, right.
And I'm in the stands like, oh.
Yeah, look at Uncle Freezy go, Uncle Freezy. I ain't did nothing. I just let Hector rock, basically. So, but so to Hector's point though, the thing that the underlying point is motivations and things like of that sort. But to the generation's point though, is this like my grandfather's generation was one of I don't care about your passion. I don't care about what you want to do. Get a job. I'm talking about in my family circle now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care about what you're passionate about. You better pay these bills. You know what I'm saying? Back then, you wasn't grown until you had bills.
Freezy, you got to remember at that same time there was a limitation on what jobs you could actually have.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I was just about to get to that. That's why I referenced my Uncle Leon. Because for us, we could listen, man. Both sides of my family, my mom family and my pop's family, man, come from little small towns in South Carolina, right? And the thing about somebody is this: when you hear them say, and this is back in the 70s, right?
Mm-hmm.
Back in the 70s, when you heard about, hey, Joe done moved to Detroit. Joe got a good job.
Mm-hmm.
That meant something to the family.
Yep.
My grandma was proud, boy. When she talking about bad boy got a good job in the city. You know what I'm saying? Uncle Sonny got a good job in the city. You know what I'm saying? Like my pops, he got a good job up there. He worked for Ford. He's somebody because he got a job in a plant.
Mm-hmm.
He's somebody, right? My kids, bro, you tell them to get a job in a plant. They're like, where, in the office?
Calvin got a job.
Yeah. You tell my kids to go work in a plant, bro. My kids would be like, nah, man, Pops, I went to school, bro.
Yeah.
Pops, all that $200,000 we spent, $200,000 plus.
Yes.
We spent on college.
Yeah.
Bro, I'm not doing manual. I'm not putting doors on Ford Rangers and Mazda trucks like your father did. I'm gonna be the man in front of the man that told your pops what to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because I went to school.
Yep.
And you can't blame them for that mindset because that's kind of what you pushed them towards.
Right.
Because remember, Hector, remember earlier when I said, when my pops and them said, don't be like me, be better than me.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the end result. But what comes with that is a different mindset. A mindset of oh man, we eat pork chops again. To I don't eat pork chops. I eat crab legs and lobster. I eat steak. I don't slave over a hot stove. I get DoorDash to bring me dinner every day. You know what I'm saying? You go from one generation of I watched my grandmother like kill a chicken in the yard. She run the chicken neck, right? Yeah. She run the chicken neck and she threw it in some hot water and was pulling them feathers and stuff off.
Yep.
You know, and bust that thing open, was cleaning that thing out. And I was like, ew, you gonna throw that away? She's like, no, boy. I liked it. No, that's the gizzard right there. I'm ready to try that. You gonna throw that away? Mother, you gonna throw that away? No, that's a liver right there. We like chicken livers fried soft for hot sauce, son. You know what I'm saying?
But you see, Freezy, you see, and that's the basics of this conversation, the topic of the generations, because Hector's gonna break it down more from that era to this era, the different generations, if you will.
Right.
This generation is very different than that.
Right.
Well,
right. No doubt.
I would say it's a fallacy. You know, it's all a facade that was painted by a pretty brush on TV for us to think that this is what we should pursue. You know, when you bring up those factory jobs, those were guaranteed top earning jobs. That was working class position, working class jobs right out of high school. Right. But they had that specifically for a perfect reason, because at that time, college and education was basically piss poor free. You could go to college for basically for free, a community college for depending on the dimes. Nowadays, it's not like that. So when the factory jobs, when those wither up and they move them to other countries because it's a profit motive behind it. Now college has a debt price to it. It's easier to get a loan to go to school than it is to get a loan to buy a house.
Absolutely.
They want you to have to be in a constant debt cycle.
And be in debt.
If you look at it every 30 to 50 years, it's an economic switch that happens. In the 1920s to 30s, we had the Great Recession. A reason we were able to warp speed past that was because of World War I and World War II. America became the manufacturing power
The war machine.
that it was. The war machine, yeah. So in the 50s and 60s, manufacturing jobs was booming. Manufacturing jobs left in the 60s and early 70s, and we started seeing the downfall. What happened? The credit card system came through. Now Americans can have credit so they could buy a house. They could loan money. They could borrow money that they don't have. Take another 30 to 40 years into the future. What's going on right now? NFT, Bitcoin. Why? Because the bubble of capitalism is about to exploit. They need another tool to keep the rat race going. So now they're introducing Bitcoin. Now they're introducing NFT. It's just a different shift from credit cards to now digital access. It's all a facade.
To keep you chained to debt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I will say this. I'm going to disagree with you just a little bit, and it's because my background is one where I come from a different place. Right. Mm-hmm. So my people coming from out of the backwoods of, and I ain't gonna say backwoods like it's a bad place, but out of the woods of Blair, South Carolina, right? Back in the 50s, they didn't know college was just a word that they heard. For them coming out of the woods, coming out of the hole, and Dawkins, South Carolina, when they heard the word college to them was a bridge so far away that it was just a word that they heard one time.
You can't you
know what I'm saying?
You can't say it like that, Uncle Freezy. I'm sorry.
No, I'm telling you. I got to say it like that. I got to.
I understand what Freezy is saying because
they don't come from that, bro. They come from when you get to be 7, 8, 9 years old, bro. When certain seasons, you're not playing no more. You're not a little kid. You got to go pick these pick blackberries out the field to help support the family.
All you're worried about is your material needs at that time.
Right. And then when you get to be 13, 14 years old, you following the Puckwood truck. You the boy picking up the limbs and stuff out the road so the truck won't get stuck in the mud.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that money that
they
pay
Uncle Freezy, can you compare that to the generations? Some people come and they grow up in different environments.
Choplo, I got the perfect comparison to you, Choplo. Like right now, right? Like look what's going on right now. I got the perfect comparison. I got the perfect comparison for you, Chop. Check this out. So check right now with everything that's going on, and you got all this activism that's going on. There's a large portion of society that want to get involved with this activism. They want to be involved, but what's holding them back is they need to pay their bills. They need to feed themselves at the end of the day. They need to worry about what's going on at the table. So they can't sit back and just read theory and learn about theory. They have to meet their material needs. Like Freezy said with his family, when they came out, when they had to do what they had to do, college was the last thing on their mind because what they needed to focus on was their material need at that time and at that presence. Yeah. And I always tell this to people, look at the Black Panthers, right? The Black Panthers, all they care about was mutual aid and helping people meet their material needs at that time. Setting up early, kitchens for hungry kids, education programs. They worried about material needs, and you need to get that first before you could get the other thing.
Right. Oh, Hector, hold up. You see how you just said that? Because that's a fact, right? And it's no disrespect. I don't know everything, but listen, the Jewish community, they got their own police. They own ambulance service. It's the same thing that we was trying to establish Oh, what you just said. I'm so
No,
sorry.
but when you look at that, and I always tell people, look at this, look at the World War II, the Holocaust. Look at where they all came from. Eastern European countries, which was where close to the Soviet Union, which was where cared about socialism and communism. So they had that work ethic, owning the means of their material needs, owning the means of productions for them and their society. That's
the
why they
moment.
have their own banks. That's why they have their own money. That's why they have jobs and they hire people from their community. Why? Because they decided to control the means of their productions. They're all Eastern European countries. That's not just by
So,
accident.
Right, right. And so
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 heck,
chop
the
so
same
chop
way
with
when they say, "Oh, you born here and you don't own your own business here." You born here, but we come here, i.e., the corner stores, everything. Heck, sorry.
right.
No, because you got some people that chose to come here, and then you got a big portion of society that their ancestors didn't get to choose whether they wanted to come on this rock that we live on that's called America.
Right.
That's the
Right.
difference.
Right. That's the and so chop what I'm getting at is this. Like we all come from different roads. Like me and G Man for Life have a lot of things in common that we didn't know we had in common until we had conversations, right? Right. But the thing is how I got to the same place he got to was different. He was born in a place that I migrated to. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't just on my own. See, I was brought there. It's a so when I'm saying about what my family is we wasn't thinking about long term blah blah blah. We was thinking about how in the world are we going to feed 15 people that live in this one house?
Off one paycheck.
Right. Oh,
Yeah.
right. And then not to mention some of them people may have had issues like with alcohol
Mm-hmm.
or with gambling or with whatever. So now you got all these issues, all these personalities, and you're trying to but like how in the world is one chicken going to feed 15 people?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So now everything on that chicken got to get eaten, bro. Everything.
No doubt.
Chicken feet, all of that stuff we throw away today. Back then, if you threw it away, you might have got beat.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You gonna throw away
You
chicken
took the
feet
bone,
and
man.
it's
Out the
and it's
bone.
yeah. You gonna throw away chicken feet and there's 4 people in here hungry? Are you serious? You know what I'm saying? Because I remember my grandmother, man. My grandmother did something so sweet for me back in the 70s. I didn't realize the gesture until today. Like when I think about it today, man, I'll be almost be getting teary eyed. Gramps asked me to rake the yard, and I was like, "Rake the yard?" I spent G man. I spent around in the circle. I saw how big the yard was. I was like, "What?" And I was like, "Well, Gramp, I ain't got no rake." And she's like, "You don't need no rake." So she went and got tree branches, right, and tied them together.
Yes, sir.
And I dragged them branches across the yard. And she was like, "Man, G man, it took me all day long."
Fact.
Bro, I was like 9, right? It took me all day long. When I came in, G man, she had me a mason jar full of ice cold water, right?
What?
Yeah, and then she was like, "Hey, I got a treat for you." And so I was like, "You got a treat for me, Gramps?" She's like, "Yeah." She pulled a baked potato out of the wood burning stove. It was a yam. She took a yam out of the thing that had been baked the whole time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she put a pat of butter on it
Oh.
and sprinkled a little bit of cinnamon on it.
Oh.
And oh boy, you talk about a treat, something made my day. Now, Chop Low, Chop, I know y'all come from we come from different backgrounds. So y'all probably thought I was gonna say she gave me $70. Nah, she ain't had no $70. My when man, my
Nah,
family,
no.
we come from
Listen. I'm
honest,
West Indian too. Listen, if I get
right,
some of that, I'm okay, brother.
right, right. And so heck, so just the gesture of her looking out for me while she's looking out the window watching her grandbaby rake the yard with tree branches, right? Right. And in my mind, after years later, I'm thinking like she was looking at me probably envisioning herself at the same age doing the same thing for her grandmother.
Yep.
And the reward her grandmother gave her was a sweet potato at the wood burning stove with some type of sugar and butter on it.
She was teaching you early problem solving skills at a very young age. You know, there's this show that I
And the reward.
Oh yeah, of course, of course. There's this show, Freezy. I recommend you watch it. It's on Hulu. It's called Reservation Dogs. It's about three kids that they grow up in an indigenous reservation in Oklahoma, and one of the elders from that show, he said it. He's like, indigenous communities, we teach people by showing you. You know, some people could pick up a book and you could read whatever from a book and learn like that. But when you're shown something and you're taught something and you do it with your hand, you learn that easier than you do when you like just, you know, reading a book. So what your grandma was showing you was that at a very young age, how to solve problems. And yeah, you get rewarded with a nice little cinnamon treat at the end of it.
Right. Bro, I ain't gonna lie to. Okay, I had replay in my ear. I'm sorry.
Oh.
I had a weird replay in my ear from Facebook. Thank you, Facebook. But
Yeah, because it did sound he did sound kind of like Transformers. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, man, my bad. Hey, so guys, we gotta wrap up right here because Heck has a show coming up.
Yes.
At 8 p.m.
No, at 9. I just gotta do some runarounds before.
Oh, okay. At 9. At 9. It's for the Love of the Game podcast. Is Project Nerd HQ, Hardwell, Worldwide L, and they basically talk sports and other stuff, right? So salute to Hector for coming through. Salute to Jay Boogie for coming through. Salute to Chop Low for coming through. Salute to Sergeant Nix, aka G-Man for Life. So Sergeant Nix, aka G-Man for Life, has his own show also. It's called The Pod Couple, where he and another one of our friends, Cornerstone Kev, aka Shazam, aka Flash, aka Star Child,
Doctor Strange, Star Child.
Yeah, aka Doctor Strange. Yeah, they do together and they talk Knicks stuff on. So make sure that y'all subscribe to this channel, Vibes and Stuff, with your man's Uncle Freezy, yours truly, and subscribe to Lawrence Tears, our channel, our home base where we talk Knicks and sports and things in general. And Hector, you wanna put the link to your pod in the chat?
I'll do that right now. Thank
you. Yeah, put your thing, put your link to in the chat. That way, those that are interested can subscribe to your channel, and then that way we can work on getting the viewers of this exposed to you guys, and then that way they can, while they surf, they can find other things that are entertain them.
Right now.
Can I say one thing?
Yeah, man.
Can I get an autograph from all you guys? I can sell it on eBay.
Yeah. Chop low crazy, man. Chop, that's my brother right there, bro.
So Freezy, I do want to take this opportunity, right, to so normally I'm on shows that, we talk about the basis of the show is sports, right? And every once in a blue moon, the conversation may trail off or start to trail off into a different direction, and we got to pull it back because we want to kind of stay on topic, right? We don't want to be just out here willy-nilly talking about stuff that's not really the topic. It's refreshing that you can come onto a platform and just have a general conversation about real life stuff, and how it relates to what real life people got going on day to day, right? For me, sports is a release, right? It's that thing that takes you away from the norm. So when I'm watching a basketball game and I'm cussing out Obi Toppin because he missed, a shot that he should have made, or he missed a move, I'm not thinking about what I just had to go through for them 10 hours I was working, right? And had to deal with a whole bunch of nonsense. I ain't thinking about that. So for me, sports is a release. But every once in a while, once you get rid of that, once that fourth quarter comes and them triple zeros is on the clock, guess what's got to happen? You got to come back to reality, right? So that escape was good for what it was, but you got to come back to reality. And it's great to have an outlet where you can talk about things that affect you in your day-to-day life. So you don't go to work and when somebody tells you, hey, G-Man for life, I need you to go over there and take that box of paper upstairs to the third floor to the HR office and give it to Miss Pam. Man, I ain't finna take no box up no stairs and the elevator ain't working. You got me bent. That ain't
Right.
That's not my job. So before I go in there and go off on somebody like that, not even thinking about, hey, dude, your phone bill is due, your light bill is due, and the electricity bill is coming due. You can't be just out here spouting off unless you got something else lined up that don't know nothing about.
Right.
So
Right.
you get to get that stuff off your chest before you go someplace and blow up. It's gonna cost you in the long term. You know what I'm saying?
Right. No doubt. No doubt.
You know what, G-Man? I appreciate that because that's what you're saying is this is basically therapy. When we do the Knicks shows and everything, everybody be on there, the chat going crazy. This right here is therapy too for everything going on in your life. Everybody got their own personal preference. You could express certain things or talk about what's going on in society. And listen, Hector's going to break it down.
Facts.
I would say one thing everybody just take this with, you know, we were just talking about genetic trauma that's passed on down from our parents, you know. A lot of the stuff that we go through or we've been through, our parents been through, if not worse. But you have to understand the same way how our parents passed that shit down, passed that down to us, our grandparents passed it down to them. And our parents didn't have the tools on how to navigate those situations. Just like us at an early age, we didn't have the tools to navigate. We're all learning this as we're going forward. So we just got to be patient. Yeah, we can acknowledge the stuff that was passed down, but at the same time, have a compassion, you know, and just understand that in the 60s, it was very different than it was in 2021. In the 20s, when your grandparents was growing up, it was very different than it is in 2021. You know, even in 2021, you got some places in this country you can't go to. It was a lot worse back then, you know. So as much as we acknowledge the pain that was passed down to us, we have to have a compassion side to it when we're analyzing it and looking through it from a critical lens.
Right. No doubt. No doubt. So heck, I want to start doing these more often. I want to start doing these like once a week. You know what I'm saying? So that we can share our experiences and knowledge, and also expand our knowledge base and learn how to I want to say check our emotions, but learn how to take issues and cure the issues that are hindering us emotionally by hearing other people's experiences and things and having strong conversations with strong people, you know what I'm saying, so that others can grow from what it is that we have to share and they have to share with us. Right. So if you're watching this right now and you feel like, you know, you can add something to the conversation, hit me up. This is Vibes and Stuff. Thank you everybody for coming through. We'll try to get on again.
God bless.
Y'all be peaceful. We out of here.
Listen.